Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Miller. Special guest today is Frank Calderon from the Solid Waste Department, Miami-Dade County. Welcome, Frank.
Thanks for having me here, Michael.
So we all want to know, what do we do with the stuff that's under our kitchen sink and in our garages? That's the old pesticides, the gas that's left over from the old lawnmower that we threw out 3 years ago, and the oil and batteries. So what do we do with that?
Well, we've always, I mean, not say always, but we've had for a number of years now, 2 home chemical collection centers, permanent centers. One is located in Doral, and one is located in South Dade at the South Dade landfill, where you can bring those items. But now we have, just a couple of years ago, we started doing these mobile events at our TRCs, and a couple of Saturdays, 1 or 2 Saturdays a month for a few months for part of the year, and it's just more convenient for a lot of people.
So one of the things that we recognize, and I think that Uber and those other type of companies have proved it, make it convenient for people. If they can't go to you, you go to them. And so that's what you've done.
That's what we've
and
done.
And it's really good because it makes us think about what we want to do.
Yeah.
And as I was out there separating my cardboard over the weekend, right, and it's like, okay. And then I see some guy on TV cutting this cardboard with the electric battery operated thing, which we had here. It didn't work, right? It was for school work. So you have the home collections program. They can go to different TRCs and be able to do that. What are the things that they can bring to you?
They can bring used electronics. They can bring batteries. That's one that we always get questions on because people aren't sure about which type of battery. They can bring used oil. They can bring, if you have a couple of gallons of gasoline because you have an old lawnmower and you're not using it anymore, you can bring that. You can bring household pesticides, old fertilizer, paints. Paint is a big item. Any type of home chemical that you have at your house that you're not using anymore, you can bring over.
So my wife and I have bags of batteries. But they're probably good or bad. We have to test every time. Let's see, are these batteries any good? So our bag keeps getting bigger and bigger. At some point, we're going to go, okay, these batteries are ready to go. So we could just show up. Do we have to have ID in order to driver's license like the TRCs?
They will typically, they'll ask, more than anything, what they're looking at is not that you're a customer of ours, but as long as you're a Miami-Dade resident. That's the only, that's the one facility where they won't ask you or check to see if you're in our system. As long as you're a Miami-Dade resident, they'll take you.
So let's talk about if you, that includes people that are in the city, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they can go there. All right.
Yes.
So again, so you can bring most of the batteries over there. There's some that you can throw out. What are the ones that you could put in the garbage?
The ones you can put on in the garbage are the standard alkaline or heavy duty quote unquote batteries. Your AA, AAA, C, D, those types of batteries can go in the garbage when they're done. But the lithium, the ones that say lithium, the ones that are rechargeable, the button batteries.
How about
those need to be taken
the Bugs Bunny battery?
The Bugs Bunny no, well, the Energizer.
Yeah, the Energizer.
The AA, well, as long as it's the alkaline, not the lithium ones. The AA, AAA, C, D, those can be thrown in the garbage. Anything else should be brought to our facility. And if you're not sure, bring it to our facility.
Okay. Let's talk about computers because we have a closet full of computers, right? And if they just keep getting more and more, and a year later we go back and say, is that one any good anymore? Once it gets into our closet, it's not good. What can we do with that?
You can take it to those 2 centers. We do also, for our customers only, some of the TRCs will accept used electronics. You got to go to our website to find it, miamidade.gov/solid waste, or call 311 to find out which ones on a daily basis. But the two home chemical collection centers will always take them.
Some people are concerned about the content of their hard drive, just like in the copying machines. Then they could, if they wanted to, they could open it up and take it out. If they don't want to do that, they can take it over there. There are some companies that'll pick it up, but I'm sure they'll charge you a bunch of money unless you have something, unless you have a lot of big stuff. By the way, on copying machines, all that stuff gets scanned into a hard drive.
Yeah.
Remember the story they did about 15 years ago? They went in and 60 Minutes went and bought about 20 copying machines. They took the hard drives and they started printing out stuff of other people's, including medical records and insurance stuff. So people should be aware of that. If they don't have a problem with it, then they can do that. And So again, so they can take their old TVs, they can take their computers, laptops,
Yeah.
those type of things, and it's the right thing to do when they
Yeah.
do that. So so lots of times we see the county is now out. You know, if you're changing oil in your front yard, you do it more than once or twice, you're probably going to get caught by the code enforcement officer that's out there. So folks, don't do it. Right? Take it to Frank's house and do it over to Frank's house.
Yeah.
Right. So right now we have, rained like crazy last week, and so this is the third, almost the second week of hurricane season for sure. We know that they start pretty soon, and I know we talk about it week after week, and there's a reason for it, because when you go to try to book your landscaping to be picked up, it might be full. So tell us about what people need to.
All right. So bulky waste pickups. Now is a little late, but it's a little late, but it's not completely late, because I think we're looking at actually Saharan dust making it dry for the next few days, and I think it's actually going to extend a little bit. At the moment, anyway, that I'm aware of, there's nothing out there that's a potential
Yeah, I remember
danger.
last year saying that.
Yeah,
24 hours later.
Yeah. So, there's still time. If you've got stuff you got to remove from your yard, if you got that tree that's hanging precariously with a limb hanging over your roof or over where you park your car, do it now. Get rid of it. Call for the bulky waste pickup, or you can check to see what appointments are available, because what happens is people wait till the last minute, and unlike in the past where they would take you up to a certain point and they scramble to try to pick all these piles up, now you'll see the appointment dates are gone until after the storm is expected to come, and by then it's too late. So
people can book it themselves. Miami-Dade,
Miami-Dade.gov/solid waste.
Or they can call 311 and they'll walk you through. They're very nice over there. They won't say you can do it yourself, or they sometimes will say, "Do you know you could do that yourself?" I want some help, so you can do that. And it's, again, as you know, it's pretty simple. You pick out where the house is going to be. You can put your stuff out there, but you got to book the appointment before.
Yes, set the appointment before you put the stuff out.
Yeah, and one of the things we recognize, it's like graffiti on a building. If the graffiti stays up there more than a couple of days, the other guys on the other team go out and they tag it. And the same with the garbage, which is understandable. So if somebody is having, a neighborhood is having a constant problem with people dumping trash, not littering, but dumping trash, what is it that they can do? Let's say they haven't caught anybody, but you know that there's piles all over because they've called. What is the homeowner can do?
Well, the best thing is call 311 to report it, or visit the website Miami-Dade.gov/solid waste to report it. Report it aggressively. Report it repeatedly. We start to see there's a problem or pattern. We'll put more enforcement resources on it, and hopefully they'll even put a hidden camera if there isn't already one, and they'll hopefully catch the people doing it.
Last year, somebody was breaking mailboxes on the street. They just would crack them open. Ours was a key. So we put on the phone pole that was right next to it, we put the camera right there with a sign, "You're being filmed." All right. And that's what people are concerned with. All right. So there's plenty of cameras around town, and there's the garbage guys, the guys that track that stuff. And the county is pretty effective in catching the guys. But do you have any idea how many piles of trash are dumped that there's no consequence? Is it 10 a month, 20? Do you have any idea?
No, I have no idea on the numbers.
Do you know if it's getting better or worse?
I can't tell you.
Yeah. So let's talk, if we could, a little bit about the TRCs, where there's a trash recycling centers where you can take all your stuff and put it over there. Do the centers feel the difference in the number of people that are here in Miami, and what is that connection?
I don't know. That's something I'd have to ask them. I mean, they see a steady stream of customers. Obviously, on the weekends, it's more. They're open 7 days a week, so they're super convenient. They only close 3 holidays. They're open 362 days a year. They only close 3 days: Martin Luther King Day, July 4th, and Christmas Day. But they're open the rest of the year, and they do see a regular stream of customers. Some TRCs are very. There's a combination like the one by FIU, Snapper Creek,
Yep,
as we call it. That one tends to be a bit busy. Part of it is because the space isn't that big. Part of it is just as a popular TRC, the location. We have 13 of them, though. Residents are open to use any of them. There's no rule or anything restriction where you have to use the one closest to your house. But we see, especially on the weekends, but that's just the nature of things.
As far as the type of vehicles that are there,
yes,
are there a bunch of regular non-trucks that show up? I mean, people put in the trunk, or are they mostly pickup trucks?
I wouldn't say bunch. I think most of what you do see is pickup trucks, but you see other vehicles as well. I've seen other vehicles myself when I've gone to visit TRCs.
My brother treated me so nicely. He got me a new truck the other day. All right. And so we're not allowed to put anything in the back. Nothing. Oh. Nothing goes in the back. Nothing. Even bags of groceries. So let's talk about a little bit about recycling. And recycling, first you got to get it in your head. And once you get it in your head, then all of a sudden it starts to make sense, which is when you go to the drugstore and you have one item and they want to give you a plastic bag and a receipt that's about this long. And you're going to take that receipt and you're going to throw it someplace. And the plastic bag, you're going to throw it someplace. How do we change our mindset to say, no, thanks, I don't need the bag?
Well, I mean, that's a personal thing. I can tell you for recycling, we've had recycling here since the 90s. So we would hope that longtime residents are used to it. And by the way, that paper receipt is recyclable, but the plastic bag is not, at least not in our program.
So what if you take the receipt and put it in the plastic bag?
Not for recycling. Right. No.
So, and let's talk about the plastic bags, because those bags are very strong. I think you could carry 20 pounds in them without a problem, because we know as men that we want to carry all 5 bags in at the same time.
5?
Sorry. Sorry. All right. I'm sorry. So what my wife did, she went and bought these sort of collapsible container that's made out of not cardboard, but it has 2 thick handles on it. You can put the stuff in there. There's a framework. You put it in the cart. You put the stuff in there, and it's actually pretty good. I feel very manly when I'm carrying those instead of the plastic bags. And so I'm wondering if there's the stores, if they said, we're not going to do this anymore. You think that would scare away people? They're going to go, I don't want to bring my thing in, and I don't want a paper bag because they're not strong enough.
You still have to go to the store for certain things. I mean, there's a lot of online shopping these days, but nothing beats going to the store and actually touching and looking at what you want to get, and make sure that you're getting the right thing and the right color and the right size and all that.
So what I like to do, I like to go grocery shopping. Not very much, but pointing to my wife, right? Grocery shopping when I'm hungry. That's the best. That's the best one. And for those that enjoy shopping, whether it's at Home Depot or the grocery store, I know it's the first 3 or 4 things that are tough. But once you get 3 or 4 things in there and you got it rolling, you just put that in there. But most of the things that we buy that have you buy the fruit, that's already prepackaged, those are not recyclable, right?
No, those, at least not in our program. Those are we call them clamshells.
Yes.
No, those we can't take them out.
And the TV dinner things are not the stuff we get from Uber with the food in it for the most part, except for the Chinese food. All right. So, but those plastic things they use, they're not.
No.
Do people, are there still people still using styrofoam?
There are still places, but I find it less and less common.
Yeah, I think that finally sunk into us. Listen, we got to do away with the styrofoam, right? And actually, we got nailed because we had styrofoam coffee cups. Finally, and you don't think until you think about it, right? So now we have paper cups. One of the things I've seen with some of the big website things, they have these green plastic bags. And I saw green. I said, I'll bet they're better for the environment. And sure enough, because it's thin but strong enough, you can still take out your garbage versus the white ones. The white ones, you can put like a saw inside it, wouldn't matter. So if we are going to use products that are either recyclable or that they would be chewed up by age quickly, we should probably pick something that is going to be better.
Biodegradable.
Yes, that's the word. Let's talk about all those beverage cans. All the stuff that comes in beverage cans and the soup and all that stuff, those are recyclable.
One of the best items to recycle, metal cans, whether they're beverage cans tend to be made out of aluminum, and food cans tend to be made out of steel. Both are excellent. One of the best and most recyclable items, and there's always a market for it. So when you bring it in, it will actually get recycled. Yeah, those are
And
the
they get
best items.
reincarnated in a relatively short period of time.
Especially aluminum in as little as 6 weeks.
So how do they do this? And where can somebody go to see the process? Do they throw it into this big pot and turn it up to 5,000 degrees and melt it?
I don't. It kind of sounds like that's what they do. The melting. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you can go on YouTube and find a video. I'm sure there's a video out there for how that process works.
That's really neat. And then they make the sheet metal out of it in the circles, and that's great. Okay, so again, let's talk about other things that we can recycle. Let's talk about the plastic containers that have the fruit juices and stuff inside. Those are all recyclable.
The plastic bottles.
Yeah,
yes,
bottles.
Plastic bottles. As long as they're bottles, plastic is fine.
What about clothing detergent and dishwashing detergent?
Yeah, those are actually okay. The containers, of course. Narrow neck, basically. If the neck is smaller than the rest of the body, then we can take it.
And I understand there's some folks that own some land out near Miami Airport that want to turn that into sounds like a TRC.
I think they wanted to make a transfer station.
Transfer station. So I know that's going to be an issue before the county commission or the local zone community council. That should be interesting to see. We all want things to be clean. We want disposal, recycling, everything, but not in my backyard. That's just the way it is, right? And so maybe there'll be a solution, to that. And right now, the county has one all-electric garbage truck.
Yes.
Are there more sort of in the works, do you think?
I'm not aware of it. I know we recently got a grant from the EPA, but that's more for like low emission diesel trucks. I don't know, if there's anything in the works.
Would that be in the Public Works Department or in a different department?
Well, for garbage, it would be us. But there's other, transit is a big one that buys a lot of vehicles as well.
And Frank, are there any job openings in Public Works?
Job openings in our department. Off the top of my head, I think we still have the truck driver position open, but I think it's closing in a few days. So anybody's interested should visit miamidade.gov/jobs. I'm pretty sure there's other jobs I haven't checked for today. They usually update and add any new jobs on Mondays. And I haven't had a chance to check today, but we usually have a variety of jobs. There was a little bit of a freeze going, but I think they've opened up a little bit at least for now.
So in your department, when it's a garbage truck driver, they're on 4 days, off 3.
Correct.
Are there other jobs within your department when they're available? Is it the same?
Some of the operations jobs work that way. As a matter of fact, the driver job, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't really the garbage truck driver, what we call the trash truck driver, which is more the roll-offs that go to the TRCs. I think they're also on 4x10, as we call it, 4 days, 10-hour days.
And if folks, if you got a grandson that wants to see something neat, go to the TRCs and just sit there and watch. It really is incredible to see people. They're so relieved. They're in line there. They get everything out. They sweep out the back of their truck. And I used to stand in the bed and look, and I go, God, I want that down there. But you're not allowed to do that.
Especially not the new truck.
Especially exactly. Especially, don't put anything in the back of the truck, for God's sake. Oh boy. Okay. So again, how will somebody know when you have the home chemical programs going on? Can they catch it on social media?
We typically post on social media a couple of days before each event. The next one, we just had one this past Saturday. The next one is coming up towards the end of the month. I don't know the exact day. I want to say it's June 28th or 29th. But it's available on our website, miamidade.gov/solid waste.
So somebody could follow you and they would get the notification.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I see your stuff all the time. It's really good. My hat's off to whoever's creating that stuff. If you're looking for part-time work, give us a call. All right. So, and as far as recycling, Jean Marie Massey, if you see her, would you tell her I'd love to smile with her again? She brings out her whole table full of stuff.
Yeah.
And Alex and I have done that before, where we're looking for food and all that stuff that's out there. And we understand that it has to start with these kids, all right? And if they're in the school and they'll come home, all right, they start to learn. When my daughter was about this big, not in recycling, she says, Daddy, if you hit me, I'm going to call the police. Good, where'd you learn? School? Good. And the same with recycling. If they could teach them that, then the parents were more likely to pay attention. If instead of, why are you throwing that out the window? Ain't gonna happen with me, all right? My grandson asked me the other day, Grandpa, how come you take off the seatbelt as we're pulling into the driveway? He said, are you in a rush? I go, no, I'm not. I put it back in. So they shall lead us. So again, hurricane season is here, and everybody can go and figure out when most of the storms are. But the reality, it only takes one at 70 miles an hour. And we're going to get a lot of stuff on the streets. If there's if it gets pretty busy as far as the winds, the county does go out. Do they go out and roam the streets if it's a big storm, or do they wait for the phone calls?
As far as the debris, we usually right away. When Irma hit, our crews were out there like within hours. As soon as it was safe to go out, they went out there and they started cleaning up what they could, especially the major roadways. Yeah.
And where does all that stuff go?
That ends up going, well, a lot of it, most of it ends up going to we've had contracts in places to take it out to the landfills that are outside of here, like the Okeechobee landfill. Just so we don't, now because of the waste to energy facility, we're doing that anyway. But even before that, we always had a contract with that location so that we don't use our own capacity, because we plan for our own capacity on a regular basis. To be hit with an emergency like that and the volume of waste
right, and
that entails
it's a traumatic event when we've got like 10 years worth of stuff in 2 months.
Yeah,
right?
that was 4 million cubic yards for Irma, by the way, about roughly 4 million cubic yards. Imagine cubic yards of washing machines. Like imagine 4 million washing machines. And I wish I could remember, we did the calculation. If you lined it up, one yard to the other, it would have taken you to someplace really far, like Montreal or something like that. It was something else when we did the calculation.
And I'm glad you brought up about dishwasher size. On bulky waste, people can get 25
per. They get 2 pickups of 25 cubic yards each. You can combine both into 50 cubic yards. The only caveat is if you only have 35 and you combine both, you can't say, oh, let me have the other 15. You've used up both.
Let's say it's over. I'm still not clear on that. And if it's over your usage, let's say it's 10 yards over, right? And so it'll sit there. Does the county say to you, hey, listen, do you want us to pick up the rest of this?
Yes, they'll ask you if you want us to pick it up. If you want to use your second bulky, if it's still available. If you want to just pay, and I don't know what the rate is, I want to say it's about in the neighborhood of like $26, $27 per cubic yard. Or if you want to just take it yourself to a trash and recycling center.
Let the county pick it up because they're there. That counts.
Yeah.
To do that. So anyway, so we're going to get ready to wrap up. And your son's out of school, all right?
Yes, lucky him. He's been out of school for a few weeks.
And I understand that he was playing some sport and did very well.
Soccer. Yes, the team made it to the state finals, to the state semifinals, to the regional. They were regional. They were division and regional champ in their area.
Well, that's wonderful, because next year, actually not too far off, we're going to have a whole bunch of soccer down here, and I think we've got the college games are going to be down here. So we're going to be rocking and rolling come late fall. All right. Yep. So, all right, Frank Calderon, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And Alex, thank you for producing the show. And folks, again, thank you for joining us. Remember, take care of yourselves and your family. Have a good day. Bye.